Good morning. I didn't know I didn't use my intro. Well, how about using it now? Good morning. How's everyone doing? It's so good to see you on a Touch Base Daily. What's going on? What's going on, y'all? What's going on? It's so good to see everybody on this wonderful Juneteenth. And I'm not sure who's going to be here today because people are out and about, especially our community is just, I'm sure, doing something today on this Juneteenth. How are you celebrating? I wonder. And but here we are. Hey, there's somebody in the building. I'm not alone. It's happy Juneteenth, says Mr. Brian Young. And Mimi's in the building. She says, "Good morning, Ron and RLP crew." Yes. Oh, there's people popping in. They are popping in. I see them. I see them. So what's going on? Hey, Janet's in the building. Greetings on Juneteenth. Greetings on Juneteenth. Mimi says, "Happy Juneteenth, family. Happy Juneteenth. Freedom Day. Freedom Day." The last of our brothers and sisters were informed that they were free, from slavery. So much to be said about that piece of history. So much. And it took place in Texas, as always. Texas is an interesting place. I tell you, Texas has the most interesting history when it comes to American history. I mean, you have to say people in Texas have always been renegades, always been against the grain, always fighting for something. This is our Texas. And don't get me wrong, I love Texas. I love it. I love the food. I love the people. But for the most part. But Texas is a unicorn. Texas, and now Florida is trying to become a Texas. But the Texans, think about it, the whole United States got the information that slavery was over. What was up with Texas? What was up with Texas? Not just 3 weeks late, not just a month late, years late. What the heck is wrong with Texas? What was wrong with Texas back then? And we can still see some of those traits today. Anyway, just saying, I'm just throwing that thought out there. It's just one of those things that make me go, things that make you go, things that make you go, So it's TrendWatch Thursday as well. It is a news day. We talk about the news. There's a lot going on. I mean, we could talk about whatever we want to talk about today. I mean, today again, there's no real agenda. I wasn't even sure I was going to be on today. I was like, oh, maybe, but then I said, wait a minute. I'm still in the house. I'm not out and about yet. I will be though later. I will be later. And yeah, I will be out later. And so here we are. I see Bryson's in the building. He says, "What's up, Ron? What's up, RLP fam? What's up, everybody? Happy Juneteenth Day. One more day before the weekend." Yes, indeed. It is Thursday. Are some of you, I wonder if some folks are taking a 4-day weekend because Juneteenth is on a Thursday this year. You might as well take off on a Friday. But do people still work that same way? Do people still work with Saturdays and Sundays off? A lot of people I know, they work on Saturdays and Sundays, or Saturday or Sunday. The world is a different place. It used to be where everyone worked during the weekend. They were off on Saturday, and Sunday. Yeah. Oh, Bryson said it's gonna be 90 degrees where you are. Well, it is. Oh, he said degrees outside. It is going to be 90 degrees in New York today. 90 degrees. Oh, I'm not ready. And then tomorrow's supposed to be a little cool off, a little cooling. And then the bottom drops out. And someone's gonna unleash hell on New York City. It's supposed to be 90 for 5 days straight. I'm not ready. I'm not ready to wrap my head around it. I do not like the heat. I do not like the heat. And oh, let me put my QR code. Let me get this QR code up right in case someone wants to join in. And I see, because today is just gonna be conversation. It's just conversation. I know there's a lot of news out there today. And well, first let me just send my invitations in case my crew wants to join in. Da, 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 da. Da, 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 da. So I'm doing a Gwendolyn. Da, 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 da. And there we go. Let's get those in there. I think Chris is probably busy today, but I'll send one out just in case he's around. He might pop up, but I know today is Juneteenth. People are just relaxing. And there we go. There we go. I got the crew. The regular crew on there. Okay. And so that's gone out. And then I'll make that copy for Linktree. Okay, so what are you guys doing for your Juneteenth? What are you guys doing for Juneteenth? How are you spending your day today? Please share. Please share. A lot of folks are. I will be going out to. They have a photographer's exhibition in Bed-Stuy. So I'll be going out there to just check that out. And what else is going on here in Brooklyn? However, and they're having. I might try to venture up to Harlem because I think it's 121st. Is it 121st? I forget. No, it's Linux. Linux Place or Linux. They are going to have their Stoop concert. Their Stoop concerts are amazing. If you're in New York, I gotta get this on the screen because you can't just say this and not give the information. Linux Stoop concerts. There we go. In Harlem. Concerts in Harlem. There we go. Harlem, yes. Soapbox presents. There we go. It's Soapbox. And here we go. Let me get this on the screen for y'all. In case you happen, this is one of my favorite. Man, I love photographing this event. And if my buddy comes up, we may take a drive up there. My cousin may be coming to Brooklyn, but he's going to the game tonight, so he won't have time to go to this because he's going to the Liberty game tonight, which I will not be going to the Liberty game. But let me show you. This is like the best. I don't know how many of you are in New York when Soapbox Presents does their thing. But this is the best. It is called the Soapbox Presents. And they are in Brooklyn, they are in Harlem. So today they're doing the Stoop sessions. It's called the Big Band Jubilee. And then on Saturday, they're going to be here in Brooklyn, a Brooklyn Juneteenth. And that will be in Bed-Stuy. And you can always go to the Linktree page and look at this. I mean, they get down. I mean, they put the gospel, they put the hip hop, they have jazz, soul. It's incredible. And literally, thousands of people, thousands of people in the streets dancing. Here it is. This is for today. The big band. Oh, sorry. This is the Big Bad Jubilee. This is that is yep today. So that's the today's event. There we go. If you are in town, this you do not want to miss. If you can get to Harlem, you will not be disappointed. You will not be disappointed. And check out their page because they are an incredible platform. And they literally use their stoop right there as a stage. They lay out um like a black and white tile like on the front of the stage where people can dance and stuff. It's an all-out event. And so if you are in New York City, this is a great way to spend Juneteenth. I would say do your day events, do your but oh, that's right. This year it starts early. That's right. They did mention that. This year it starts early. I remember reading that. Juneteenth. This is the 21st one, the 14th. Okay, so this one on today starts at 4 p.m. Usually it starts in the evening. Usually it starts like 7 o'clock. But this time it's starting at 4 o'clock. And then they're going to have the warm up at 5 o'clock. Then they're going to have a get down with the band at 5:30. Man, let me just pop it. There we go. There's the schedule for today for Harlem. If you're in Harlem, yes. And then and I'm going to try to be at both of these. The one at oh wait, this is going to be in my neighborhood. I don't even have to go to Bed-Stuy. It's not in Bed-Stuy. It's Ashland, the plaza at 300 Ashland. Oh, I can just walk over. Oh, this is going to be great. Right, it's right down the block from BAM. Ah, excellent, excellent. Okay, so now y'all got all the information right there, right there. If you're with me, if you want to come down and hang out with me and as I photograph, because that's what we photographers do, we love this event. Join me as we photograph this amazing event that's happening this weekend. Okay, just thought I would share that with you in case you're in Brooklyn for Juneteenth. But what are you doing in your area? What are you doing in your area? How are you folks celebrating Juneteenth? Brian says, my mom, she's off today. And I see Brian says, yep. Yes, lots of taking the long weekend. Yep. Mimi says, yes, lots are taking the long weekend and off today and tomorrow. And G says, good morning. There's Miss G. Good morning. Just stopping in. They've got the Opal Lee Walk for Freedom in Fort Worth right now. She's doing her walking thing. You should be our correspondent on location, G. You should have your like camera and like say, hey, this is where we are, guys. I'm doing the walk. Where's your equipment? Where are you? Take out your smartphone and just say, hey, y'all, this is where we are. She could be our correspondent in Texas on the streets at the Opal Lee Walk for Freedom. Ellie says, happy Juneteenth, everyone. Oh, Bryson says it's going to be 100 degrees somewhere. And Lisa last night had me cracking up. Lisa says, how are you? How are you so upbeat? I'm still sleepy. Good morning. Gwen, y'all should have been at the game night last night. It was so funny. We talked about travel and we talked about the things we do when we travel and the things that we do because we're germaphobes and how we travel. But Lisa laid down some stuff. And like everyone was like last night, we will never travel the same again. So it was hilarious. I laughed so hard. I could not stop laughing. Brian says, I should be relaxing, but what? What are you doing, Brian? What are you doing? How are you spending this day? And Kimmy's in the building. Kim is in the building. She says, good morning. Red, black, and green. Yeah. Woo. Yes, yes. G says, I didn't drive to Fort Worth. It's too hot. You can do it virtually in your own park or walk with them in Fort. Oh, you don't have to go there. Ah, got you. I tell you, I thought you were like in the midst of like thousands of people walking the streets in this dreadful heat. Is it hot in Texas today? What is it like in Texas today? What's the weather in Texas? I know today it's already 80. I think it's already 80 degrees here in New York. Let me just check. Let me just double check. Let me double check. It's 86 already in New York. Outside, it is 86 degrees already in New York City. We might do way better than 90. Holy moly. But they say it's just gonna go up to 88. Okay. They got 88 as the peak for Clinton Hill, but it's 86 right now. No, they say the high is 89. I think we're gonna go way beyond it because it's only 11:18 and it's 86 already. Doggone, it's hot. Wait a minute, we're hotter than G. Currently, it's 84, but it's humid. I'm not down for those kinds of crowds anymore. Gwendolyn says, I am. Miss Reese says, good morning, RLP family. Look, there's a crowd in the building. There's a crowd in the building. How are you so? Oh, so we got all these folks in here. Hit the likes. Hit the like. Make sure you hit the like. I gotta do my polling. Did you hit the likes? Did you hit the likes? Okay, there we go. Let me put that in here. There we go. Oh my goodness. Oh, goodness gracious. Goodness gracious. Great balls of fire. Do you know my buddy called me my buddy texted me at 12 midnight and said, Ron, can you get on a plane and come to Kenya? I was like, no. He said, why can't you just come to Kenya? I said, because it's last minute. I got things to do. He's like, no, you have to come to Kenya. Can you get on a flight tomorrow? He said, I'll pay for everything. I was like, I said, I got my realtor coming in. I got to be ready for this. I have a event next week. I said, why didn't you call me and plan this? Ron, you should get on the plane. I'm paying for it all. Just get here. I was like, I don't think so. As much as I wanted to go, and Lord knows it was tempting. It was tempting to pack my bags and go to Kenya this morning. But I did not do it. Could you imagine one of your friends calling you and saying, hey, get on the plane tomorrow. I'll pay the ticket. Come to Kenya. I was like, oh. Well, maybe next year this time I'll be able to just hop on a plane and go. But not today. I got work to do. Let me wait. I hear feet. I hear those wonderful feet. Those feet of a familiar pace. Yes. There's coming. What's going on? Miss Elise? Can we hear? Am I? Is
that was me?
Oh, okay.
Look, good morning and happy Juneteenth. I would have been on a plane.
You would have been on the plane.
I'd have thrown that stuff in that bag. I'd have made that rest. I would have been on a plane. You paying too? Oh, I would have been on a plane. Okay, I'll see you when I get back. I'll be back in a couple of days.
I was so tempted. Believe me, I was tempted. I was like, maybe I should just get on this plane and go. But I was like, I'm too exhausted. Well, first of all, I had just finished with was hanging out. But normally, now I have been known to just get up out of my, out of my situation, just get up and go. And that's not something that's foreign for me to do.
Right.
But I was like, you should have had better planning, sir. You should have had better planning.
Look,
And I don't like to reward bad behavior.
look, I'm gonna tell you now. Let someone call me while I'm talking to you and tell me they got a tick. They're gonna pay
You
for
like,
me to
I'm
go
out.
somewhere. I'm going. I'm gonna leave you right here and make my reservations and pack my bag. I'll be gone. Look, I living life not just existing because tomorrow's not promised. Next year's
Tomorrow's not promised. It's
next
true.
year I'll do X, Y, Z. Who told you? Where did God guarantee you that you're gonna be here next year? That's a hope. That's a hope, right?
That's a hope. That's a hope and a dream.
That's a hope and a prayer that I'm gonna be here.
Yes, hope, prayer, and a dream. Yes, yes. I was shocked. I was like,
that's what it was.
I was like, you are crazy. I said, you are nuts. I said, he was like, come on, come together. He's like, I'm in Kenya right now. You need to come right now, right now. I was like, I said, is this an emergency?
I know.
Why do you need me in Kenya right now? I mean, hello. First of all, if I got on a plane today, like if I would have got, let's say this, if I would have went through with this, I would have got on a plane this morning, right? It would have been an early bird. So that means I would have to get on the flight at roughly 6 o'clock in the morning.
Right.
Right?
Yep.
Or I would have to wait to the 10 o'clock flight. And then that would put me in Kenya tomorrow or late tonight. So I would have left today early and they'll put me in Kenya late tonight.
Right.
I was like, that's a lot of work.
But you would have been asleep when look, if you like me.
Oh yeah, I would have slept on the plane though. I would have definitely slept on the plane. I always, that's why I take the early bird or I take the overnight flight.
Right.
But I was like, and it was let me tell you, I was contemplating for about an hour and I said, can this work? But then I was like, no, I got too many things scheduled. I have to, and I have clients. And so I cannot renege on my client. And there's no way possible. Like call my client, they got a big project coming up. Hey guys, I can't make it. Now, the thought could be said that, well, what happens if you got sick? What happens if something happened to you? You still would be, I am a man of my word. And so if I make a commitment, I will be there. So I have to be there for my clients next week. And I don't ever believe in going to Africa for 3 days. It's just no way I'm flying to Kenya
that's crazy.
for 3 days.
3 days is crazy. Like the flight by itself.
The flight by itself, it takes 2 days to recover. But someone that I've traveled to Africa several times.
Let someone threaten me with a good time. Fly me free somewhere. You can fly me free to Toronto, wherever you want to fly me free to. I'm packing that bag.
But you know what? They would have been those.
I'm gonna be there.
And those would have been great miles for my Delta miles.
There's that song. I'm gonna be there. I'm gonna be there.
So I will reach out to him later and say, how long are you gonna be there?
I know. It was such an urgent message, right?
It was, 2 o'clock in the morning. I was like, is it? At first, I thought it was a practical joke. I was like, if someone stole your phone, is this really you? Holy moly. Lisa says, right, Elise? Lisa would have been on the plane. Kimmy says, carefree.
I would have been on that plane.
Says, listen, keep a bag packed. I do. I'm so organized in this way that all of my drawers are already, everything's folded, ready to go. So if I needed to go somewhere immediately, my underwear are stacked nice and pretty. So they just go right like this, just pull them out and put them in the bag. Do this, shirts, put them in the bag. This, bam, 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 bam. They're organized exactly the way I want them. And then I zip the bag and I'm out. Yes.
Look, I would have told my family, look, y'all order that dinner. Y'all be ordering dinner for the next few days because I'm not going to be here.
You'd be like, if you Lee says, I'm out. I'm
I'm out.
out.
I'm out. See you later.
Yeah. Kelly says, what a friend. Yeah, he's one of my strangest, but one of my best friends.
Look, it's always good to have someone like that, right? It's always
He
good to have
is the
someone there.
strangest of strange. And but he
Look,
is one of my best friends. And
look.
he used to be my neighbor. He used to live literally 2 blocks over in
Oh,
that
okay.
direction. And he ended up moving back to Atlanta. So anyway, and now he owns a beautiful. He started. I mean, just to put his business out, you don't know who he is, but
Uh-huh.
he had a dream. He had a dream of being. He always loved buses. When he was a
Mm.
kid, he used to go to all of the. He used to go to the bus yards to just see the buses coming out. When I would visit him in Atlanta, he said, "Ron, let's go to the. It's 2 o'clock." I was like, "What the hell is 2 o'clock?" He says, "Get in the car, get in the car." We get in the car, and then we drive to this bus company yard. The buses where they come out because
Uh-huh.
they're getting ready to come out to pick up these kids. So they
Oh,
come
okay.
out one by one, and he goes, "Ooh, Ron, can't you feel the vibe of this?" And I was sitting there like, what in the world is this man talking about? But he used to be so excited about these yellow buses coming off the lot. Anyway, he worked for a big bank here in New York City. He was working for a big financial institution. And then he went to Atlanta and went back there and worked at another big financial institution. And then he says he got he got racially discriminated against at his
Uh-huh.
job, and he was like, "Okay, I'm done." And then so he went out and bought one bus. He
Okay.
went out and bought a bus. He went one yellow bus. He says, "Ron, I'm gonna get the bus. I'm gonna get the bus. I'm gonna drive it. I'm gonna drive it, and I'm going to ask the schools that I'm gonna set up my company."
Right, right. The schools use them.
And guess what? They did. They
Yeah.
used him, and now he has a fleet of buses in 2 states.
All
He
right.
has fleets of buses in Tampa, fleets of buses, not Tampa, I'm sorry, Tallahassee, Atlanta, DeKalb County, and now he's created an amazing empire. And I
Yeah.
said there, I said, well, that's why you got to follow your dreams. I was laughing at him when we used to sit outside that lot, but here we are 10 years later. Guess about
And
10
he
years
can,
later
yeah.
now. And now he has one of the biggest bus companies in the South.
Yeah, now he can call up a friend in the middle of the night and say, "Hey,
And
I'm
call and
gonna
come
pay
on.
all your expenses to fly over here to Kenya." Look, I wish. Look, that's my husband. I told you my husband's fascination with transportation, right? He always talks
Yes.
about being little and riding the buses, and he couldn't read, but he could ride the bus. He just knew which bus went where. And taking the bus to see games as a little kid. He said he was like less than 10 years old, riding the buses in Cleveland by himself. And he is
Mm.
fascinated with transportation. And I guess he designed years ago. He put together this culture bus thing for that Metro could do,
Mm-hmm.
but one of the companies, the tour companies in DC, fought against it, so they never implemented. I said that's what he should have done. He should have just gone and created his culture bus tour, and he'd be able to fly me somewhere with it.
Yeah. Hello. It's interesting. Again, that's why I'm always telling folks or suggesting to folks or encouraging folks, follow your passion. You never
Mhm.
know where it will land you. I mean, you can't go wrong when you follow your passion. One is because you love what you're doing. You're passionate
Yeah,
about it. So you have no idea what doors is going to open for you. I,
yeah,
I-
you know.
we used to, I mean, my other buddy and I used to laugh at my friend. And now he's got the last laugh. He's the one that's calling us and saying, "Hey, will you join me in such and such a place?" But I told him, I said, "Guess what? When the apartment is sold, I will be in Atlanta. I will hang out with you in Atlanta." He has a big, beautiful house. And I said,
Mhm.
okay, just give me a room. I'll be there. And I'm also going to be helping him with this company. So I
Oh, okay.
said, so I got to make money somehow, right? And I don't have to
Right.
be there in Atlanta, but I do want to meet the staff. I'll be working on some projects with him. And he
Okay.
wants, because I'm highly, not like Gwendolyn, but I'm highly organized. And so he wants me to help with his team in getting like their birthdays and celebrations and
Mm.
mapping that out and making sure everybody gets their and clients get their cards and their thank yous and
Oh,
all that
okay.
stuff. So I'd say I can do that for anywhere in the world. So I can do
Yeah.
that from Africa, anywhere. So, but I would like to meet the people when I'm there. So I'll be helping him out and I'll still be doing my photography. So that's like it'll be my little side gig, if you want to call it. I was
So you're
to
lining up your
support him.
gigs.
Yeah, I got myself a little gig there, and I think I tell you, I don't have no idea where my life is going to take me after this. You know, like I said, when this apartment chapter closes, the world is my oyster, and I cannot wait to ride. But I say that not because I'm to brag about it, but to say, guys, believe in your dream and believe in yourself and believe if you're a person of faith that God is going to guide you and lead and show you where to go. But also we all have so many people in our lives and nurture those relationships. I am a believer of nurturing relationships because you never know. You never know. This is my buddy that one year I was for my birthday and he was happened to be traveling on business in the Netherlands.
Mm.
And then he says, "Hey, what are you doing?" I said, he said, "What are you doing this weekend? It's your birthday." And I said, I don't know exactly, but he goes, "How about this? We meet in London." I said, "Okay, let's do it." Then I packed my bags. I got on the plane. By that evening, I was in London.
Like I would need me a friend like that. Oh yeah.
But we've always been that way. So that's why he had the audacity to call me at 2 o'clock in the morning and say, "Come to Kenya," because he knows that's how we roll.
Well,
But
it's good to have people like that in your life. The ones
it
who are
is.
spontaneous, especially when you uber organized.
Yes.
Everything is in a place. Like
Yes.
everything is so struck. That one that says, "Hey, hey, throw all that to the wind and let's go."
Yes. I feel like
I'm not
Thelma and
organized. Like
Louise.
I'm not the organized person. So don't call me for organized. So
I'm
I need to
super organized.
look. I need to find a side gig I can do online. But don't let it be organizing anything for you. I might be able to organize something, but I can put together a chart. But it's like,
Kelly says that she said, "That's awesome. I'm in the South. Next time I see a yellow bus, I'll think of your friend." Yeah,
look,
he
next time you're in
he.
Atlanta, like because our former neighbor um, works for they had a company like that here, a black company that does buses. And
Mm-hmm.
but he and his family moved to California, but he still comes back. He's still a part of the company. He still comes back and check in on the company and do whatever he needs to do because he doesn't have to be here to help run the company. Like you said, because
Mm-hmm.
you got internet now, you can just communicate on the computer. But he still works with that. And they, of course, all the schools when it's time to take trips, that's what they do. They call these companies up. In my school, my last school, we had over what did we have? We had like 1,500 students,
Mm.
middle school. So when we took our yearly trips, it was like quite the experience to coordinate buses. And we used by almost every bus company in the city because it was so big.
Yeah, that's a lot of kids. That's a lot of people. 15.
I had 557th graders.
Woo.
Yes, yes, to
I
manage.
mean, a bus only seats how many? What? 60?
It's
Is that 60 on the bus?
like 40 to 60, depending on the bus.
Because they got
Coach
those
buses
long ones, and they have
and
the
coach
one.
buses fit
Yeah.
more. Yeah. So they would have yellow buses, everything, to
Mm.
go on all of these trips. And like my granddaughter just went to Six Flags up in New Jersey when they had their trip last week. And
I used to
it
love those
was their
those
coach
bus
person.
outings.
Like, look, I did
You didn't like bus
I did
outings?
my jobs, huh?
You didn't like bus outings when you were a kid?
No.
I loved them. I used to get, and the boys, most of it was always the guys. We used to sit on the back seat because the fun part was when the bus would do the bump and everybody jumps up, go, whoa.
So being the child who suffered from motion sickness, absolutely not.
Yes, I used to love riding that back seat.
You can never ride in a back seat with motion sickness.
Oh
That meant that
wow.
we were gonna throw up.
Oh man, one of my friends, my other friends, who's another supporter of this, she supports this channel and what we do here, and she's one of my big sponsors in the Patreon community, and I have two friends that support what we do here, and they've been giving $100 a month to this platform for the last 2 years.
Wonderful.
So I just say, well, a year and a half since we started here on YouTube. And I really have to say, I am really blessed. I have really great friends, and I don't have a multitude of friends. Like, I don't have like hundreds of friends that I hang out with. I have a real tight knit of friends that I get on the phone. They call me, I call them. However, they call me more in the midnight hours than I call them. I don't usually call anyone past 10 o'clock or 11 o'clock. I'm that old school. But they will call me 1 o'clock in the morning and say, Ron, I'm having such a problem. Why did he leave me?
Look, I have gotten
all
calls
kinds of stuff.
Look, I've
And
gotten
I'm
calls
always
at
the ear.
4:30 in the morning. I've gotten calls at weird hours. But the most important thing is not the quantity, but the quality of people.
It's the quality.
Not having to say, oh, I have a lot of friends. And I always tell people, you have a lot of acquaintances.
You have a lot of acquaintances.
How many of them are real friends? Friends are different from acquaintances.
That's right.
So I have some friends and I have some acquaintances.
Yes.
And there is a distinct difference. And so the quality is the most important part, not the quantity. Quantity.
Did you would say that because my father one day when we were kids, I was like 15 years old, and I came home and I said, hey, I think maybe I was 14, and I said, hey, I have a new friend. I have a good friend today, a new friend, and he said, stop. I was like, he goes, that's not your friend. Right. You just met them. Right. Friendship takes time.
Absolutely.
And I was like, and so ever since then, I realized, he goes, that's your acquaintance at school. He says, that person is not your friend yet. It may become your friend, but friend, he says, save that word friendship for your prized friendship.
Right. Friendship is just so different. Like, there's some friendship is a reciprocal relationship.
Reciprocal.
And most people don't understand that. Even when they're in intimate relationships, they don't understand this part.
Yes.
Like it's you have everybody, you have takers and givers, and then you have people who take more than they give. And those are people I keep at a distance. We can know each other, we can be acquainted, but we won't be friends. Not that kind of, we won't be friends. Yeah. And I will cut you off. Look.
It's so interesting. I mean, this particular friend for the Kenya trip, when I told him I was selling the apartment, he had a meltdown. He was like, you can't sell the apartment. It's no way. He says, how much do you need?
Why do you have a meltdown?
Because we used to hang, when he used to live across the street, he used to just come over, sometimes in his PJs, and then we would just look at movies and cartoons and hang out and just talk, or we'll get in the car with my other buddy and we all drive to, the beach, or we'll drive up to go hiking, or we used to do all stuff. But this was the meeting spot for us. So everyone would come over to the house and we would just chill out, look at movies and stuff. He says, you can't sell it. It's too many memories. It's too many memories. And then also when he lost his job, when we had that big 2008 crash and the financial market had its moments, he ended up living with me in New York City and then would
Mhm.
fly home every weekend back to Atlanta. But he could only find a job in New York City. So during the crash, he would fly back and
Oh,
forth. And so he lived here for the week and then would go home on weekends. So we, like I said, it's being there for your friends. And, but he was like, "Oh, you can't sell." He says, "How much you need?" He says, "How much? I can just give you." He said, "I just give you the money." I said, "No." I said, "I got to sell it." He was like, "No, don't sell it. Don't sell it, Ron. Don't sell it."
I know. Saying that, I was like, I would cry. If my son ever tell me he's leaving New York, I'll probably cry. But I can't come and listen to all the noises of Brooklyn or is because you have that place. Like I know you've had several times when friends have come and they stayed with you,
Yes.
and where you are, like where you are is convenient.
Yes.
Like where my son is so convenient. I walk 2 blocks and I'm on a train. I can go find all types of food in the neighborhood. That's it's a nice neighborhood to walk through. So I think that's but everybody has memories attached to things. But it's like you said,
Yes.
it's time for you to spread your wings. It's time for you to live that life, go out and enjoy what's out there for you. I know that's what I'm trying to do. It's like trying to enjoy as
Look,
much as I can.
I told him, I said, "Man, I've been here 30 years. You don't want me to stay here another 30." And but I said, "Look, I'll be able to spend time with you, and I'll come down and help you in your business, and I'll be able to help my friends." And so I
Right.
feel really good because I can truly become a nomad, and I can really spend time with people I love and care about, and I don't really have to worry about living from client to client any longer. And
Yeah.
that is going to be such a stress relief to
Right.
say no more living from client to client. And I'm thankful that, you know 30 years ago, that little thought was dropped in my heart to say, look, you need to purchase something and then sell it when you retire. And here
Yeah.
it is.
Yeah. And in America, in the United States, so there's this whole thing you gotta work, 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 work till you die.
Hmm.
And then when you look at countries, you have those some countries Mondays are off. Some, there are countries where the summertime, some of these countries in the summer, people on vacation.
Hmm.
They're gone. And we don't take that rest. You go to Spain and you're in Spain, they have a siesta. They really are closed. They close and
They
then they
are,
open back
that's right. Siesta
up.
is real.
So the siesta is real. And people, and Sunday things are closed. Like we used to close, they close for rest. We don't, we everything is about, and then we have to decide what it is that we do and why are we doing it. If it's everything is about the accumulation of funds, because my husband and I, we talk, and my daughter, who is the one that lives in Texas, we look at people who are constantly billionaires who are constantly trying to get more billions. But why?
Hmm.
You can live off what you have. Why
Yes.
is it that you're so greedy? Why is it that you're so willing to allow other people to be destroyed for money that you'll never spend all of?
Well, well, that's the point. That's the point.
And then we accrue things and we amass all of these things. What are you gonna do? I mean, the things that you want to give to Adrian and his children, you can give them to them now if you want to.
That's right. That's
Then
right.
and then whatever you end up doing is gonna be left for other people if you have people to leave it to. And what does it mean? What does it mean to you? And who is that? The one that said, "I've never seen uh what you don't do is you don't get buried with all that money you accumulate.
Yes, right. No,
Don't get buried with it."
Gwendolyn says all the time, "I've never seen a hearse with a house behind
Right.
it or a trail of things. When
Or a
you when
bank
you
or
go, you
whatever.
just go. Nothing. It's
And
just
so
you in the casket."
and we're so into amassing funds It's the
Yes.
big things. Like we have to figure out how do we not just focus on amassing stuff and we're gonna save it. We got to save it over here. We got to save it over here. We got to have this over here. I told my husband, I said, if I had been more aware of buying stocks than I am,
Yes.
that I was, if I had invested in it, and I believe me, if my stocks were paying off millions of dollars, I'd take it out.
There it is.
That would take those
That's
millions
what
out,
Glenda says all
and
the
I
time.
live life.
We have yet to see a U-Haul follow a hearse.
Absolutely, Gwendolyn. We have
You don't
not
see
seen that following
you
that
don't
hearse.
see it.
All I tell people is like, make sure you have enough that if somebody is responsible for your internment, whatever you choose, that they can pay for it.
I love
Our
what Mimi
people,
says.
yeah,
Oh,
that's all you
sorry.
need. Go ahead.
Mimi says, if it does not serve you and the quality of your life, let
Let it go.
it go. And
Let it
that's
go.
people, things, places, whatever doesn't, I mean, you have to, we are so used to in this country, in our mindset, that you have to stay committed to the thing that you hate, or
Right.
stay with the thing that annoys you, or the thing that makes you unhappy. You don't have to stay in that situation. You do not have to stay in that situation. You have options. Even if you are the poorest person in the room.
Right.
And I know some people say, well, Ron, some people don't have the money, some people don't have this, some people don't have that. When I have gone I've gone overseas, and I'm in many places, like in Africa for mainly,
Right. Right.
and there are poor people. I mean, poor
Mm-hmm.
people. And what they create and come up with, and the joy that they have, and the way they live their lives, they are some of the happiest people on the planet. And and it was a rude awakening my first time living in the South African region, but living in outside of Cape Town, and then going to the townships. And I would watch the young people laughing and playing, and they would make these. I mean, I'm sure kids do this all over the world, but because this is my experience, they would take the tops of bottles
Of
and make
bottles, yes.
wheels, and
Yeah.
take the can and cut it up and make a car. And I mean,
Yeah.
the toys they used to make for themselves. And I would just sit there like, holy moly, this kid is like 7 years old, 8 years old, and making cars with like the scraps. But yet they're so happy. I would sit there and say, I would go through a lot of, just interacting with people. And then I would it was almost a condemnation to myself to be so
Mm-hmm.
wrapped up into the things that I thought were a problem. And
Yeah. And
people
yeah.
wish they had my problems.
Yeah. And I think that, I don't know if there's anyone else here that grew up like I did. But anyway,
Mhm,
so
mhm.
growing up where I grew up, I saw those conditions.
Mm.
I saw those things. I lived in that. My house had a tin roof with 4 rooms and 7 people that included my father. I mean, 4 rooms. There wasn't no running water. There was a well out back. There was an outhouse. That was a tank for heat, a fireplace, and because you couldn't burn that gas because gas was expensive. And then
Yes.
we would go and go. There were places where people had kerosene lamps still back there when I was growing up. So I saw that, and there's still people. If you go certain places, there's still people living in some conditions now in America than the United States,
Yes.
and people just don't realize what's interesting is like my husband was born in Cleveland, right? So even though most people think when they hear him speak, he's more southern than I am, but he was born in Cleveland. So from his perspective and your perspective, because of where you were born and where you were having those amenities, to come to an
Mhm.
environment where you didn't have those amenities is different, right? For me,
Mhm.
at the age of 12, I gave up all of those amenities to go back to that 4-room house because I was happy in the 4-room house that had nothing in it. None of those things that you had, no running water, no bathroom, had that tin tub. By that time, we did have a gas stove instead of the wood burning one, which I grew up with a wood burning stove. And so understanding that, and there was happiness there all the time. We were always happy.
Yes, yes.
Your daddy found some rope, or he had something, and you cut out a piece of wood and you hung it from the tree, the pecan tree behind the house, and you had a swing. You had some tops, or you had somehow we get a bicycle rim and a stick, and we take that bicycle rim and we roll it around.
Yes.
And have the best time running behind that rim with that stick and going to do that. And so those are the things that a lot of people never experience. And I know when people look and they think about, you're only 69. Yeah, I'm 69, but that was Alabama. There's parts of Maryland now. There's still those simple things. And we got away from the simple stuff. Like the kids now, my granddaughter now would not know anything about that kind of fun. Just going out there and skipping rocks on the water. We learned to skip rocks on the water.
Skip rocks. And we was trying to get 3 skips, 4 skips. Pa, 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 pa. Like let that rock ride the surface.
There was no park for us to go to. The pool that was in town was white. Yeah. So my father said, "We're going fishing, and y'all want to learn how to swim? He throw you in that water in the river. He throw you in the creek quick. Then you gonna sink or swim, little fish." That's how it was, and I think that we have gotten so caught up in the things, the things.
Keep going.
That's a major issue that people have. And it makes me think about a conversation that Kenny Burns had the other night. And when he said, you all are going to be so proud of me because I got rid of my G-Wagon. So it made me think about a conversation I've been having with people as Black Americans, as Black people. We think that things put us in places. So having designer stuff is not about just being Black. It's about, that means I've arrived. That means I have some. Some of them have these designer things and just as broke as all get out, trying to figure out.
Well, a lot of them, yes.
And so, to hear him finally talk about getting rid of those things and having a conversation about those things, because I never bought my children a pair of Jordans. My son never had a pair. I said, you go to the store, you get those 2 for $89 sneakers, and then he would go to school and everybody he got his shoes from, because his shoes were different from theirs. Yes. We go to New York and shop at Conway's. You know, Conway's used to be up there. Conway's used to be downtown. We would go and get their clothes from Conway's every year in New York. And they would come back, oh, y'all got the New York clothes on. We got those New York clothes on, looking different. We ain't seen those down here. But that's the thing. We taught them early on that it wasn't about the trapping.
Yes,
you think about what you can do with the amount of money that folks are spending on a Birkin bag. What is it going to do for you? Nothing. Yeah, I spend money on my art, but it'll be here. And then I even think about that I have limits on what I'm going to pay for that too. If you tell me your print saw something crazy or your original, I know what my limits are. But we have to understand that the things, and these things are on my wall. They're not, the only way you see all of it is you come to my house. I'm not walking around like that. And the average person, when they get these things, you are walking around. You have paid to advertise for somebody.
Yes.
You paid to advertise for someone. You got a Louis Vuitton jacket with a big LV on the back, and you paid X thousands of dollars for it. You're giving them free advertisement because you paid to advertise for them. And so I would never let my children have anything that had a symbol on it for a company or anything, because that's free advertising. You paid, it's not free to you because you paid to advertise for them.
Yes.
And we have to start understanding, and we need to understand that as the saying goes, clothes don't make the man. These things don't mean any better. And understand, you go walk around and you got your Gucci, you got your Pooch, whatever you got on. When you walk in that as that Black person, and you're in that room with them people, you still are in.
That's right.
I don't care how many billions you got. You can have 10 cents or $10 billion. You still at in. You still at the same level. They don't care about your clothes. Only you think that makes you somebody. What
Yeah.
makes you somebody is how you treat people, not how you dress or what car you're driving in. I drive a Toyota Highlander hybrid because it's the best, one of the best cars ever made. Toyota has great service. I don't care about other stuff. And when I was younger, I was like, I'm gonna get me a Volvo, I'm gonna get a Mercedes. Then I was like, wait a minute, what kind of gas does that burn?
And
Does it
it's
burn
burn, and they
regular
usually
gas?
burn more gas.
And they don't. They you either have premium or you got diesel. And I wasn't paying. And I even when I rent cars now, the first question I ask is, what kind of gas does it burn? Because if it doesn't burn regular, I don't want it. I won't even get upgrades. They tried to upgrade me one time. I was like, I don't want that upgrade because it doesn't burn regular gas. I'm not paying for that premium gas.
Oh gosh. But hey, we got Brian in the building.
Yes,
Brian,
right.
what's going on? Brian's laughing, so that means he's into the conversation. You're on mute. You got you turn off your mute. We can't hear you.
What it's making like a
Yeah, we just heard you chirping.
Yeah, it sounds like Donald Duck.
It's like pop out and pop back in. Okay.
He sounds
Yeah,
just
it was
like
going.
Donald Duck.
But I wanted to also bring up some points that were put in here.
Yes,
This
I'm
is
looking
good.
at that too.
Lisa says, right, and don't go to other countries as an American looking down on them. They
Absolutely.
are happy. People in other countries make happy lives with themselves. Their families are what's important to them.
Right.
It's so, and that I'm telling you, it is everything. It is everything. And that's why I've learned when I travel overseas. Also, Cass says, when we depart, we should leave empty, meaning served others, filled within ourselves, and have filled others positively with memories, good deeds, etc. What you choose to leave behind.
Right.
And then Rosemary said, my grandparents had to live that way in the middle of California, La Colonia, and or the Mexican colony, they would call it. We learned our most important core values there.
Yeah.
Yes.
That's where you learn them
And people want to call me on this. Why don't they know I'm on live? Don't they know I'm on live? Everybody knows I'm on live, but they're calling me
Lisa
now.
said she had to use that outhouse every summer in North Carolina. She hated
Yes.
it. Lisa, just imagine 6 kids having to use the outhouse, and they have these rituals where people don't like when you talk about these holistic things that people do. So the holistic things that they did to keep us healthy in the wintertime.
Yes.
Were funny. So you would have to take castor oil, cod liver oil.
Ooh.
And then there were these tiny pills they call worm pills, whatever it was. But you don't know castor oil sends everybody to the bathroom.
Yes.
So you got 6 kids that you just gave castor oil to. All of them got the bathroom. So you got the little chamber pot, you got we in a line trying to make it. And it happened every winter. Every winter, there was this ritual.
Did you guys do it like in September for school, or was it after school started?
So it was after school started. My father that was the ritual in the house. You had the castor oil. Don't cough now. If you cough and it sounds like a rattle, you're gonna get some castor oil, because that's gonna work the cold out of your body. That's what they used to tell us. This to work the cold out. So you always had castor oil, cod liver oil. And that cod liver oil, they try to give you an orange with a peppermint stick in it. One of those soft peppermint sticks. And then they had these, what they call worm pills. So if you had any parasites, I don't even know what it was, but they gave it to you. And the most interesting thing we used to have to take, and I have no idea why they did it, was turpentine and sugar. Don't know why.
Turpentine?
Turpentine and
Really?
sugar. Yeah, they would put a drop of turpentine on sugar, and they would give it to us.
Wow.
I don't know what it was killing, but we, besides it could have killed us.
Oh man.
But
Anyway,
turpentine and sugar.
I think Mr. B is back.
And hopefully he doesn't sound like Donald Duck.
Well,
okay. There he is. Sorry.
I was trying to use it said my mic was working. I was trying to use it on my computer, on my desktop, but
yes.
So I had to go back to my iPad. My iPad lags sometimes, but
well, no, look, your iPad gives you definitely better quality on picture.
Yeah, it's better.
All right. Yeah.
So what's going on? What are you contributing to this conversation, sir?
Well, I'll just say that last convo, I was hungry, but now I think I can hold off. But no, yeah, I had no plans to hop on, but your early discussion, this one of those things where if the spirit talks to you, don't ignore it. And when you guys were talking about like initially friends and what I took away, like one's values or a person's moral compass or moral fiber, and those sometimes the early parts of our childhood, in my opinion, that's where a lot of those are set, and hopefully they come to fruition as you get older. I look at my value structure, and when I went into let's just say a criminal element, and when it got deeper, something inside me was like, no, I can't go that far. And that was that moral fiber, those early years of influence of the elders around me. And it goes into friendship, the circle of people you have around, a carryover from yesterday's conversation of community. Mm-hmm. And it just, I don't know, spoke to me because we're having some issues with Xavier now, and I guess regular kids stuff.
How old is Xavier now?
13.
13. Oh, those are the best years. But
one of the things I tell him is the influence of friends. And I said, son, listen, your friends, your real friends won't allow you to get into trouble. Your real friends, when they see you doing wrong, they will say something to you. Ultimately, it's your decision, but your real friends will uplift you and love you. And so, he got into some trouble at school at the end of the school year a couple of weeks ago. Even though he didn't do it, like his friends were throwing fruit or whatever outside and damaged property. He's like, Dad, but I didn't do anything. Dude, you're still going to detention because you were an accomplice. Guilt by association. And so hearing you guys talking about friends, and it brought to mind community and the values and I don't know, it just spoke to me like, the people that are in your life, that you allow in your life, that influence your life and that you impact, hopefully it's an extension of the core values that were poured into you, if not in the early childhood, then, maybe throughout life. But anyway, yeah, I don't know, that just, it spoke to me. And then the whole notion of stuff, and
we have a lot of stuff.
Name brand stuff. Like most people who I've tried to stay away from the cliche creative look, because I'm like, man, every designer and artist I know always wears black. And then ultimately years ago I succumbed and was like, I get it now. So majority of my closet is black or like gray. And I'm not flossing some designer stuff. I ain't got time for that. I got too many conscious creative decisions to make on a daily basis to be standing there in front of the closet like, who am I gonna wear? Hoochie Poochie or Moochie or whatever? Like, nah, dude. And for what?
But do you
And I'll,
find,
yeah,
just to interject, but do you
yeah,
find,
yeah.
I've noticed this, I may be wrong. I mean, creatives, I realize that a lot of my friends who are creatives don't really focus on name brand stuff. Is that just my imagination, or am I
No,
interpreting my world wrong? I noticed that most of my friends who are highly creative, some of the most amazing photographers, the artists that I know from some of the gallery events and stuff, or if I go to the gallery and meet meet artists like painters, um, they in that rim, not I mean, like I'm talking photography, artists, painters, they live very modest in their clothing. You don't see them wearing name brands. They don't put the name brands on their clothing. They seem to just wear, at least a lot of folks that I know, they like to just wear their black t-shirts, or like my buddy Seth, he likes to just wear his white t-shirts, and but they're highly creative, highly creative. I mean, some of the folks I'm talking about are just brilliant creatives, but yet in their attire, I've never, in a lot of cases, most of them, I've never seen them in anything name brand. Is that my imagination?
well, my circle, because around here, majority of my um, majority of my creative friends, yeah, I met in art school,
Mm,
and we've developed, we're talking about relationships that have lasted over several decades. And I don't know about everyone, but to your point, the circle of creatives I'm around, I rarely see somebody rocking a name brand like, ooh, that's a Louis Vuitton. Usually, honestly, even my photography friends, my friend who's a photographer who did my headshots for my TED talk, and she will rock her bag she made. So
Of
her
course.
photography bag. So if you're a creative, I don't care if you do finger painting or fashion, but as a creative, I go by the notion you make constant, conscious decisions creatively every day. So what's the one area where you don't have to really think about it? It's your closet.
hmm
And if you do need something creative, um, you can make it, or you have the connections to have somebody make it in your vision. So anyway, that's my 2 cents worth. But
Yeah,
yeah,
Elise,
Yeah.
what do you think,
But
Elise?
I would that I hang out with a lot of artists.
You
They,
do.
yeah.
I really don't see them wear a lot of stuff. I don't know. Maybe it's because they're so busy in reinvesting into their
Art.
artistry. I don't know. But like Brian said, and then if they when they wear things, they're very conscious about what they have on.
Yeah,
And a lot
I'm
of them,
always
because
concerned
I
about
hang
my
out,
messaging.
yeah, messaging. They do messaging, and some of them are messages that they created, and they have shirts or have done with
Yes.
that, and they'll make sure, because most of the artists I'm around are are Black Americans, Black or people of color. They're on that African diaspora. They try to actually patronize and wear stuff that's created by people. So you may not know who created it, because that's who did it, or they have some, as Brian say, someone makes it for them. You have those things, and that's where you see a lot of their funds going to. But basically, they walk around, they got on all black, something stained with paint, whatever. And when they come out, they put on what they dress, but it's just like casual. They're not very flamboyant. They're not
Yes,
flash. They're
yes.
not trying to flash a label or a symbol. They don't seem to really deal with it in that way. And I think, for me, a part of it is we have to start thinking about who are the Black designers who actually are selling their goods, because there are lots of them out there. Because I do have a couple of bags by this one guy called by the name of Brandon Blackwood. but his stuff is not priced like the other stuff. But he's black, he's a young black guy. But it doesn't say it. It doesn't. It's not like big and bold writing there's no symbol that makes you think about him all the time. So you have to just know what you want to do, and you need to be comfortable in what you wear. But I'm just not that person, and I don't hang around a lot of people who wear those types of things. And I think it kind of helped my daughter. My daughter worked for Neiman Marcus for a while, and it helped her to think about different things too. It was so funny. She bought a Chanel bag one time because it had the employee discounts, which Neiman Marcus gave the best employee discounts, like 30. They would give the best employee discounts. And she got it and she was like, oh, well, I don't understand the hype. And she sold it. She was like, it's no longer interesting to me. And so now she's more creative, and she's gotten to the point where she has, quote unquote, what she calls her uniform. She wears a lot of black and olive and colors. She's beautiful, but she just has developed over time her own personality, and I think that's a big part of it. And I know with a lot of creative, and as G said, it depends on the creatives too. Like a lot of the creatives that are in the entertainment industry, whether I have
now they're the total opposite, right?
Personal interactions with them or not, they tend to be more the flash and dash, got all of these things on and
jewelry, the mics, the studs, the glitter, the glam.
Right. Yeah. Interesting. And one that I'm close to, I kind of said, too. So why do you have that? Why do you do that? And so they started thinking more and more about it. It's like, I don't need these. Why do I have that? And so they started now thinking about not having as much of that. And I think that's a shift that needs to happen, because you're not, those things don't make you any more acceptable to that society that you're trying so hard to be in. That's the part about that. And then we have to realize some creatives, some of the people in the industry are actually being given those clothes to wear, say that somehow to advertise for the companies, like a lot of actors and things. And even in the music industry, I remember when D Nice used to put on things, but he would say, oh, I got this from so-and-so. That was like early, what was that, like 20, 21, 22, when he would do that. He doesn't do it so much now. But I was like, it doesn't matter to me what it is. It doesn't matter. What matters to me is who you are. Well, and you having that on doesn't make you anything. It doesn't make you any different. It doesn't make you any better than anyone else.
Can I add to that? Because that goes back. I mean, fashion and more broadly, the things around us, in my opinion, extensions of a person's character or personality. But the core is you. And I'm what sparked this a memory. Pre-COVID, had a presentation. The vehicle I was a part of the design team on, and we're in front of GM design leadership, and it's like the cliche from like a movie where I spill coffee or something on my suit, and my button-up shirt. And fortunately for me, like I had a black V-neck T-shirt underneath. And I took all that off. I went in, and for a split second, I was like, oh man, I'm not in a suit. These are some big wigs or whatever. But once I got started, I was confident in who I was, whose I was, and the stuff that I was saying. And I read the faces that were looking at me. And after a while, I felt they weren't looking at this, they were looking at this, what was coming out. And so it goes to that adage of, I'm not saying this for men only, but that adage that a man doesn't make or clothes don't make the man makes the clothes, a woman makes the clothes. It's who you are inside. And that confidence can carry you far without any trappings.
Mm-hmm.
So, but yeah.
So as we close out, I want to ask one question, and then we're going to close out.
Ryan, can we look at Anthony's comment when he said the clothes in Florence are amazing? Let me tell y'all. The clothes when I went to I saw clothes in Toronto, and they have a street where you have these men's shops. Some of the best men's clothes, most well-made men clothes I had ever seen. The quality of fabric here is trash compared to the quality of the fabric over there. And Florence is amazing for clothes, and the leather goods that you buy on the street at the market, just absolutely amazing. Some of the best leather you can get. And you got to understand,
it's a fashion. It's
all
fashion.
that leather is coming from over there. You might as well buy something over there.
Yes.
And if you're ever in Rome, go to the flea market. Some of the best buys you'll ever have in Rome is at the flea market.
So we need to get on. We need to get to Rome. One question I have for everyone, then we're out of here. Is what are you eating today on your Juneteenth holiday? What are you eating? What will be your favorite meal of the day, and what are you eating for today? I think I'm going to head over to Cloudy Donuts.
So let me say, I was on a liquid diet all day yesterday. So today I'm making some salmon for myself. My family has leftover chili and pasta because my husband likes to eat his chili Cincinnati style, which is chili over pasta. It's over spaghetti.
I love chili
over
pasta.
Spaghetti is Cincinnati style.
Ooh. I love me some chili.
Yeah, chili over spaghetti. He loves it.
So they have chili that. Is my thing.
Yeah.
Gwendolyn says pork chops, mashed potatoes, and collard greens with cornbread. Ooh, that sounds nice.
Great, Gwendolyn.
That sounds nice. And I'm gonna.
You writing it down?
Yeah, I'll text you. I'll call you.
I'm definitely going out to eat. I'm sure.
Me
and so, Elise, what are you making for dinner today?
So they're having leftovers. I had a colonoscopy on Tuesday.
Oh, congratulations!
And I did a liquid. I had a liquid diet all day yesterday, just by choice. I just decided to give my innards a rest. That's all the work they had to do.
After that colonoscopy prepping,
because your innards work overtime doing that. So I gave them a break yesterday. Prep. So my family, their leftovers, and I'm making salmon for myself. That's to kind of break that.
Bryson says we got chicken Philly cheesesteaks. Yummy, yummy, yummy. And Lisa says I'm eating normally. I have been losing weight, so I'm gonna keep it up. Probably a salad.
Well, yeah. For me, it's no change. I mean, I will have a salad here for lunch, but for dinner, it's gonna probably be chicken parmesan, homemade.
Yes.
That I will knock out. But nothing major. No, the comedy in me would be like, well, it's Juneteenth, and let me lean into the black stereotypes. No, I'm joking.
Oh, I got a watermelon now. I got a watermelon. I found one at Whole Foods for $7.99 yesterday.
It's hard to find a seed. I want the seed watermelons, and it's so hard to find seed watermelons.
I found this one surprisingly.
Here in the city.
I found this one at the Whole Foods. And it's seeded, and it was only $7.99. I was like, let me get one of those. Yes.
Maybe I need to head over to Whole Foods later on.
I was shocked. Can I tell you a quick story?
Yeah.
Today, my husband and I are going to try to go around the corner and talk to this woman who her last name is Stallworth. She stopped him on the street a couple of times, and because of the way he looks, and said, "You're a Stallworth, aren't you?" Because they have distinctive facial features, their nose and stuff, very distinct.
Yes.
And so he's gonna go share this family history that a couple of people in the family have been looking at their history. They have traced back their family to 1830 something. That the owners, and they have the will of the slave owner who bequeathed his enslaved people to his children, his wife upon his death. And they found they know directly which one went to who. So that he's going to go share that information with her around the corner today, because her family is in the same area that his family is with Beatrice, which I'm sure if she can spot him on the street and ask him if that's who he is, they're definitely the same.
Nice.
That would be my last word upon that. Like, you're exploring and digging into investigating your family background, and as we get older, and you know, shared with you guys, I lost a dear aunt. We finally buried her a couple of weeks ago, and it was just a shock. But as people, as most families do, come around together for a homegoing service, you reflect and start talking about the past. And for our family, it's been at least a 20+ year journey, investigation on family background, before the internet. And my elders who passed it on to my sister and the female cousins, they don't trust us men for some reason, but they traced our family history back, this on my dad's side, back to the slave owners in North Carolina, where we got our last name of Young. And then on the white side, trace that back to the 1600s in Ireland. And I was like, wow. But I kind of joked with my sister, I wonder why it was easier to trace the white side of the family.
Well, they have records. Well, they had all the records, right?
I'm being facetious, but
yeah.
But yeah, I mean, just that's my encouragement. Family, at the end of the day, that's what you have. Not saying that you got to be buddy with all of them, but it's good to know.
Look, some kin folks are not your friends.
To the curve.
So, okay, guys, have a wonderful Juneteenth, and I hope everyone has a great time and get out there and do some of the festivities that are in your area. And a lot of folks are celebrating. And if you have your camera, get out there and use your camera and photograph some of these beautiful events and document them. And I'll be taking my camera out today and getting on my bicycle and riding around and checking out what I can photograph. And so it's gonna be a good day. It's hot out there. It's already it's 80. It's now 87. It's creeping up.
It's hot.
So it's hot. So anyway, guys, thank you so much. I will talk to you guys later. Love you all. Thank you, Brian. Thank you, Elise, for being the team today, the dream team. And we're out of here. Later. Hello, and thank you for joining us today. Make sure you hit the like, the subscribe, and leave a comment on this video. I would love to hear from you. Thank you again. Until I see you next time.